Martens to actually create change and innovation. You're coming from a place of constant change because the athletic shoe can change. Dr.
Yeah.
Martens, on the other hand, doesn't feel like it has the flexibility to change.
Oh, that's an interesting point. That's interesting. Um, Look, the brands that I've mentioned are also legacy brands, right? In some cases, some of them are older than Dr. Martens, um, and 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 they're fantastic, iconic brands that will stand the test of time and already have. I think with Dr. Martens, the source of innovation, the source of the brand evolving comes from multiple places. I think the first thing is that the classic boot, the 1460 boot, is 64 years old, and I always talk about how subculture, countercultures, all those things that you just mentioned, punk, goth, grunge, all these different
The
movements are
Clash.
the Clash, all these different bands, do you know what I mean? All of them and all of the movements that were happening within society at the time have all helped propel what was a humble work boot, a true work boot, yeah, and made it stay relevant. So the boot stayed relevant because those around it, the stylized individuals, the culture, the music, the swing 60s, the 70s, the 80s, all these things have kept it moving forward because it's such a classic, amazing piece of design work that has iconography through the yellow stitch and the kind of interesting details on the sole. And it's iconic. You see a Dr. Martens across the road, you know it's a Dr. Martens. Is a thing that makes it timeless. Now, if you look at brands like an Adidas. Do you know what I mean? And they have the Samba that everyone's wearing at the moment. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen that kind of football-y inspired shoe that everyone's wearing at the moment, all the young ladies are wearing.
I don't think I've seen that one. I mean, my sons, I have three sons and they're shoe obsessed like you are.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they're not working in shoes. Um, and they have all the brands. It's
If you
incredible.
look at any of these iconic brands that I've mentioned and some of their iconic products that they started with, um, they're all still relevant in the range. All they do is that they veneer them, they give them new life, they give them new stories, they create new collaborations, they create new projects, they work with new seeding, they work with new partners, they create new marketing campaigns around them to keep them elevated and fresh. And that's what Dr. Martens does. We veneer the icon to keep it always relevant, and we manage it in a way that makes it be in the right places at the right time, tell the right stories. Now that's one way of keeping the boot relevant. We've just launched a new campaign called Reboot, which is really about talking about the lineage of the boot in the 60s and how it's still relevant and inspiring new creation and new constructions and new ways of being and new ways of developing now. And then it ends with a kind of campaign around a new launch of innovation through winterized treatments, right? But it talks about how the boot doesn't need to change that much, but it continues to be, it's a generational thing of its DNA, can be modernized in smart, subtle ways to keep it relevant today.